Well, we've missed nearly half of the qualifying session, but here we are then. Welcome to anyone that has just joined here in WOR Tier 6 for the season finale here in Brazil. We've had our first round of times put down. Unfortunately, I couldn't see them because, you know, F124 was being F124. But alas, here we are. Simone currently occupies the top spot with a 107.7. Less than half a tenth behind is Milos. Then comes AMS Devil, the Right Cow, Superb Tommy, Vibe Roger, and EVR Richard after the first runs. By championship battles, as I have been informed, Milos leads Vibe and Roj by 14 points, which means that the Mercedes driver merely needs to finish. Let me do the maths. Merely needs to finish P4 out of P7 here, and no matter what Roj does, the championship goes to Milos. In terms of a constructors' battle, it's still between Williams and Mercedes, except this time Williams have a 12-point lead over Mercedes. So if Roj wins the race, as he starts his lap now, Milos would have to, actually no, if Roj wins the race they win. If Milos wins the race, Roj has to finish P3 to maintain that title for Williams. So we'll see how we go as Roj rounds turn 6 Ferradura into this very technical middle sector. It's a very quick lap, of course. We're expecting times in the low 107s, maybe a high 106 if we get lucky. A lot of time can be found and lost in this middle sector if you just commit that bit more, especially through this final corner. So easy to catch the grass on the way in, run out wide on the way out, catch the grass, run over track limits, and your lap is done. But as Roj comes across the line, goes up to P4, just over a 2.5 tenth improvement on a 107.8. Richard, I believe, is on an in lap. Right Cow's just finished his lap to go P4. Superb Tommy's on a lap now, going through first sector. Just under a tenth up. He goes through Decido de Lago. Very, very ERS management based lap this one in qualifying. Don't want to use it early because you've got the massive, probably over a kilometre drag down towards the start finish straight, which if you save your ERS you can gain like 3 or 4 tenths just from being mindful of how much ERS you're spending. Can't spend all your coins too early. The Superb Tommy seems to have saved enough ERS here to get him pretty much up to the line. Uses deploy limit. And he goes up to P3. But I'll tell you what, if you take Milos out of the equation, that's a gap of just over 1.5 tenths. In fact, I'll get it up for you. There's a gap of just over 1.5 tenths between P2 of Simone and P7, which is currently AMS Devil. Speak of Simone, he is on his probably second lap. We didn't see the first lap, so I'm assuming this is his second run, which he has invalidated. Turned in too early for turn 6 there. If he's got the fuel, he might go again. If not, he'll come and put in another set of tyres on. Tommy will be boxing. Milos just started his lap then. Championship leader. As Devil goes P1. P7 to P1. Flips it right round. Milos now has a target to go for, and he's very much not pushing on this lap. A bit of wiggling down the straight there for the Aston Martin. My goodness me. I don't know whether he was trying to show off or what he was doing, but that was so nearly the end of qualifying for AMS Devil. And now he's had a bit of a spinala. Doing the old Sebastian Vettel spinala. And now he's just showcasing a bit of drifting for us by the looks of it. Gotta be careful, you don't want to stack it in the wall. As everyone will be coming into the pits now for what will be the final run. 4, 3... There, we might have another person joining. We might be up to 8. As impossible as it seems. Everyone now returns to the box. Oh, goodness me, pardon me. To put on a new set of tyres, ready for that final run. We should see them come out in a few minutes. Current order as it stands, Devil P1. Just over half a tenth clear of Milos in P2, who's a further 3.5 tenths clear of both the Ferraris of Simone and Superb Tommy in P4. Richard P5, followed by his teammate the Right Cow. The two RB drivers separated by a mere 11 thousandths. Followed by, well, Vibin Roj, who, if he wants to have the best shot at overturning Milos's 14-point championship lead, as much of an outside shot as it may seem, really he needs to be higher up than P7. Obviously it's a long race, anything can happen. But it certainly doesn't make his life any easier, starting from what is at the moment last place. As Devil will lead them round then, first one to go out on his outlap. Just running through in mind now, getting those tyre temperatures up into their optimal working range. You get an awful long time to think about the first braking zone here. All the way from Jinsao, turn 14, the last proper corner, all the way down to the CLRS, you're constantly thinking about the braking zone. As he now gets ready to go. The long drag up towards the line feels like an eternity, especially at the end of your lap. But Devil is the first to start his final run now. Currently provisional pole position, can he extend that advantage? Nice and tidy through the Senna S. He accelerates down towards turn 4 at the Cedar de Lago. What's the split time saying? Down by nearly a tenth, not the start that he would have wanted. As he's run off the track, and I think imagine he'll back out that one. Try and go again. Next to start their lap will be the Right Cow in the RB. Looking to improve on his P6 currently. Doesn't need much improvement to do so. 1/10 of a second would take him up to P3, which I'd imagine is his target, because there's 3.5 tenths around here is a lot, as he is down by 1.5 tenths and has backed out of that one already. I don't know if he's going to make it back round. He's going to have to get a shift on. So we will now go to Tommy, who will be the next one. Through the middle sector. I didn't see the first sector split. Nice and tidy through turn 6. Wind the lock on, keep it steady. Minor oversteer through 7. So easy to lose time here with the lock up. Up towards turn 13 of Jun Sao. Nice and tidy. Perhaps doesn't have the ERS maybe. Unless he... No, he saved it pretty well. Up towards the line. He backed out of it. Tommy backed out of it at the end there. Not sure really what happened. We'll swap to Vibe and Raj, who really needs to put the hammer down here. A lot of pressure on the Williams driver for this lap. This could make or break his championship challenge. Towards Jun Sao we go. He's just over 2/10 up. Currently a net P3. This is a critical lap for Vibe and Raj. Where can he do over the line? Goes up to P3. Goes up to P3. We'll swap to Milos. Can he take provisional pole? Yes, he can. And unless Devil is up, which he is not, and the right cow isn't up either, that is your qualifying done here in WOR Tier 6 season finale here in Brazil. Milos is on pole then. Just about edges out Devil, who perhaps didn't have the final run he wanted. My goodness, that was close. 19 1,000th of a second separating the top two. Vibe and Raj may not be happy with P3, but best of the rest, so maybe that's all he could have wished for. Right cow takes P4 as they sandwich the Ferraris, the RBs of Simone and Tommy, and EVR Richard rounds out the grid. There is the race director in case anyone wants it. And there will now be a break until the start of the race, so be back in a minute. Adios. Oh, it's the Alex Albon crash. I was about to quit them and then realised they would just do a retirement. I'm so used to other leagues where they do that. Yeah, I'll be back in a bit when the race starts. Well, well, well. The racing gods just had to chuck one more thing at us, didn't they? I hope you've packed your raincoats. It's looking a bit soggy out there. I don't have a weather forecast, unfortunately. It's raining hard at the moment, so it'll probably be a full wet start. I don't know whether any of the drivers are going to attempt intermediates, but I have seen that work in other tiers, so wink wink. But yeah, it's looking a bit wet. Obviously Brazil is famous for its heavy rain. When it rains in Brazil, it often pours, as we saw in 2023. 1 second it was completely bone dry. The second it was thunderous rain, and it literally looked like night time. But if anyone's got a weather forecast for me, or a rough estimate of a weather forecast, is it raining the whole race? Are we in for a full wet full race? Or is it going to dry up later on? Might add a bit of mystery for me. Bit of jeopardy for these drivers. Wet to dry race is always fun. You got to pick when you go to slicks. When do you consider the track dry enough? If you get it wrong, you can lose seconds a lap. You can lose masses of time, but you can also gain a lot by taking the risk and getting it right. Lights out and away we go, here for the season finale, here in Console Tier 6. Very wet start, full wets for every driver I believe. Let me get my details up. Yeah, full wets for everyone. There's been an incident at the back already, involving Rog. Rog has gone round already with Devil at the centre S on lap 1. I don't believe that Rog has sustained damage. I don't know about the Aston Martin. They may have gotten away scot-free in terms of damage, but a horrible start for Rog there in terms of his championship challenge. These conditions are awful. These first few laps, especially if you haven't done rain practice, these will all be exploratory laps for these drivers, trying to feel where the grip is. How late can you brake? When can you pick up the throttle? Is what a lot of mistakes are likely, as somehow Rog is already back up to P4. No idea what's happened here. But Rog has got incredible pace. He was down and out at the start, but he's already back up to P4, obviously pending any stewards' investigations that may take place. Has Rog got the mysterious god set up here? Or is he just that much faster than the rest of the field? Is he going to go for the Max Verstappen overtake? Round turn 3. Very nearly pulled it off. And I believe we may be seeing him up into the podium places. Well, how quickly your fortunes can change, eh? Down and out in P7, possibly could have even crashed out at turn 1 and 2. Yet Vivan Roger has now recovered to P3 and is right on the back of the Right Cow and Milos. So all to play for here in both the Constructors and the Drivers' Championships. As the Right Cow overtakes Milos. These two have got to be careful here with their battling, with Rog looming behind now. It's not crucial for Milos to stay ahead of Vivan, but it's crucial for him to stay in this top 3. It just mitigates any chance of Rog taking that P1 and then possibly running away with it. Devil's also recovered nicely, so maybe the lower half of the field just struggling to adapt to these conditions slightly. As Milos will go for the move again down to turn 4, the Cedar de Lago. Rush down the inside, there's contact! Contact between the RB and Milos. Milos is down to P4, there's an RB off the track. It's all going down here in Brazil. These conditions very tricky for the drivers. In 3 laps, Devil has gone from last to first. And Roger has gone from second last to second. So a complete flip on its head for these drivers. Honestly, if this happened in real life, they'd be having a field day because this is ridiculous. It seems that Raj and Devil are literally the rain experts. They must have been doing the greatest rain dance of all time before this race starts, because their pace as it stands, Milos and Rightcow and co, they just don't seem to be able to live with it. Absolutely running away with it. And of course, the advantage that Milos has, it's in his hands. If I do my maths again, he only has to finish P4 to take this season 19 crown. But any lapse of concentration, any lapse of anything, you could very quickly find yourself either spinning or worse, in the wall. Top 2 have managed to pull 1.7 seconds on Milos already on lap 4, despite coming from the very back. But very slidey there for Milos on the exit there. This is a terrible camera angle. But, drifting through Jinsao. Really, very much not liking these conditions. Maybe the setup isn't suited to these wet weather conditions, as Rightcow runs wide through the corner that really doesn't exist in the dry, but of course in the wet it very much does. Down the inside he tries to go, compromise Milos' exit through turn 3. Will the Rightcow get the run towards the Cena de Lago now? Down the straight, I don't think he will. He isn't deploying his ERS. He does the switchback, gets underneath Milos through turn 5, which again turns into a corner in these conditions. Through turn 6, they're sticking with it side by side. So dangerous in these conditions. But they're pulling off at the moment. No contact's been made. Brilliant racing from these two. So they're still side by side through this whole middle sector. Oh, they made contact! It was going to happen eventually. Milos goes into the side of the Rightcow. At the moment, that may seem insignificant. Any steward's investigations, any penalties here, that could absolutely change the outcome of this championship. With Milos in P3 at the moment, Raj P2, obviously Milos wins the championship. With Raj and P2 scoring 18 points, they may as well be on top of each other. 18 points, Milos would need 4, so he would only need to finish P8, so he only needs to finish the race, to be fair. But yeah, Milos does not want a steward's investigation hanging over him. Especially if Roche does win this race, which at the moment 1.7 seconds behind Devil, but can all change very quickly here. We're only at 1/6 race distance currently. What a lot of these drivers will be doing, they'll be saving their ERS through the middle sector, putting it in none. You can't really overtake, there's no need to have your ERS on. And then they'll dump most of it towards the run to turn 1 and towards the run to turn 4. And they'll just do that over and over again. The Devil sets a new fastest lap, 120 dead. It's always satisfying when you get those times. But every time these guys go into turn 1, I don't know how they don't crash into each other. If I go back to the car behind, the visibility must be very, very poor. Especially in these conditions, there's not really much you can do to correct your braking if you suddenly realise you're careering into the car in front. Either you jam on the brakes and spin, or you let off the brakes and hope that you can avoid them by going around them, but it's difficult enough stopping the car normally, let alone when you're trying to avoid a collision. So everyone from P3 down to P8 is still together as a group as such. No DRS available in these conditions, of course, far too dangerous. Although Kimi Raikkonen did try it once in 2018. They come over the line to complete lap 8 onto lap 9, or maybe onto lap 8. Yeah, they were on lap 8. Milos there, I think, ran a bit wide in the Mercedes. But because there's no DRS, ironically, he should be able to get away with it. We haven't seen many moves into turn 4 this race. It tends to be on the exit up towards turn 6. Very treacherous in the wet, of course. In the dry and qualifying, it can be completely flat out. But in these conditions, it's most definitely a lift and probably a brake as well. Milos just runs a bit wide there, just locked the rears a bit under braking. Perhaps going to be vulnerable up towards turn 1. We'll look back for the Mercedes driver, pardon me, by God. We'll look back for the Mercedes driver down towards turn 1. No one really seems to be able to get close, so we'll go further back in the train. They all seem to be pretty well behaved. Hopefully Richard could maintain the back of the train. Just as I say that, commentator's curse. Catches the grass into turn 1. That may very well be the old Richard's race over. He was falling off the back of the train anyway. Didn't appear to be comfortable with these wet conditions. And unless there's safety cars, which are definitely possible, he'll find it very difficult to claw that gap back. Unless, of course, we get interchangeable weather, then anything can happen. But we'll go back to this lead battle. Haven't shown much of it, but they are nearly 10 seconds clear of Milos in P3. It's amazing to think that these two literally last nearly down and out of it out at turn 2, both of them in the wall, and now they are absolutely dominating in the lead here as we have two drivers coming in. Has the rain lightened up? Is it time for inters? It is time for inters. Simone goes on to the inters, so does Sujaks, who has joined since qualifying. And so will Richard, so if I look at the rain on screen, I wouldn't say it's lightened up too much, but there is a drying line forming. And we know that on this game, if you can stay within the dry line, even in heavy rain conditions, the intermediates are faster. There's a yellow in sector 2. Was the right cow? The right cow's had a spin. Don't know if there was contact with another car. He's got front wing damage as well, which suggests that there was. Front left end plate is missing off of that RB. As Raj sets a new fastest lap. Very unfortunate for the RB driver who's chucked it in none. Maybe coming into the pits to retire, I fear. As Tommy picks up a pit lane speeding penalty. All too easy to do in these conditions. Just run over the line too fast. And he'll really need Lady Luck to give him a safety car now. If he is to get back into this one. Because if it goes to dry, which it does look like it might do, he's going to have to serve that 10-second penalty, regardless of whether he wants to or not. He comes out just ahead of his teammate in P5. Of course, with that penalty looming over him, we'll soon see where he comes out if it does go to dry. So Suzax is the lead intermediate runner. Milos deciding to stay out. Not using any ERS. Not pushing, it seems. Not sure why, really, because they are gaining an awful lot on him behind. As Devil comes in onto the intermediates. Milos will swap as well in the Mercedes. Which leaves Raj as the lone fender of the wet tyre. Nicknamed the most useless tyre to ever exist. For a valid reason, I must say. We all know how much the real life drivers hate using it, as well. There's your clue that it's switch time. Richard sets new fastest lap and has now jumped his teammate, who I'd imagine had to get a front wing change at his stop. But I think that Raj has gone too long here. I think that he is going to lose a lot of ground to Devil, who he was battling. Speaking of battles, these four are absolutely glued together, as that is the kit car off the road. They're at Ferradura. That could have been very bad. I think Tommy picked up an illegal overtake. Awful luck for the driver who's already got a pit lane speeding penalty. As Raj does now come into the pit lane. We'll go on board with Devil. I think he'll come out comfortably clear of the Williams driver, but we'll have to see. He was ahead of him before the pit stop, so it'll be interesting to see if he did indeed make the right decision by coming in earlier. Raj on the inside, Devil on the outside, of course, on the racing line. And he does come out ahead, but not as far ahead as I thought he would. Both still together, of course. Devil's got more experience on his intermediate tyre, so you'd expect him to pull away in the coming laps. But what you will also notice, I won't say specific numbers because people might be watching, hasn't got much in the way of ERS compared to Raj, so all swings and roundabouts here. A lot could happen before the end. We've just crossed 1/3 distance. As it stands, Milos and Milos is Drivers' Champion and Williams are Constructors' Champions as Simone drifts through turn 12. It's group in the middle just spreading out a bit. There's another yellow flag as the right cow's had another spin. He was doing rather well actually in the full wet. Maybe not enjoying his intermediate conditions as much. For me, I'm the opposite. I love the intermediate conditions. It's where I thrive. Compared to the dries where I don't perhaps quite have the outright pace. Full wets I can't get on with though, it's too slidey. Maybe the right cow's the opposite. Maybe he loves the full wets. Wanted it to stay raining quite heavily for the whole race, but it seems he's not going to get that. He's put it in none ERS. I don't know if he might just come into retire at the end of this lap, to be honest. You've got to remember, of course, every driver who finishes this race scores points, so it would be good if he just kept going at the back, you know, keep scoring for RB. Both currently occupy the bottom two spots here in Brazil, but you got to remember there are certain teams which just aren't being represented at all. There's no Red Bulls, there's no McLarens, as Devil says in new fastest lap, there's no Haas, no Alpines. A lot of teams missing here, and if you're in a close championship battle, it's absolutely 3 points. I'll just have a quick rundown. I just realised that Richard is underfueled, or he was underfueled. He's right on the brake now. So fair play to him if he did that on purpose. Obviously an underfueled car is lighter. That's why they do it. Expecting a safety car. But as we approach half distance, we haven't seen Bernd Mylander's digital AI on track yet. A lot of opportunity for it to still happen, of course. As it stands, must say, other than this middle pack who just about still together, everyone's kind of settling into this new intermediates now. Roger's just broken into the 1 second of Devil. No DRS available, of course, still in these wet conditions. As Milos shapes up the move, my goodness, nearly runs into the back of Simone there. He really does not. He cannot afford to get front wing damage. Otherwise, Raj will be licking his lips like a starving man eating a donut with the opportunity of his shot at the title here in WOR. But Raj will also know, with Milos in P4, it does not matter that he's P2. It's not enough. He has to push that extra bit, has to overtake Devil if he's to have any shot at claiming the crown. And he has to hope, as he sets a new fastest lap, that Milos falls to P5 or below. But with a gap of 14 points, even with Milos finishing P4 and Raj winning, it's still enough for the Mercedes driver to claim the title. It's wide. No, it wasn't. It was lag. Got on the DA servers. This is the area of the race as both RBs have come in, so not sure what's happened here. We double stacking, costing each other time as the right cow goes on to the mediums. So does Richard. It's still raining. So I don't know if they've just given up going for absurd strategy, but it's most definitely not time for slicks as Richard nearly goes on the wall. On pit exit. So I look on the onboard. I don't know if you've ever seen rain before, chaps, but this is what it looks like. And those tyres you've got on now, they don't tend to like rain. So you may see them back in soon. Lap 18 then here in Brazil, in the Console Tier 6 season finale. We've just reached half distance. Devil is your current race leader, followed by Vibe and Roj, who have both, I will repeat this again, at the beginning of lap 1 they were last. Both had an incident with each other, which obviously pending steward's investigation. But by the time we reached lap 3, they were already back to P1 and 2, so that just shows the level of pace they have over the rest of the field here. They both have 17.5 seconds over Simone in P3. Milos, your championship leader, is currently residing in P4, which is all he needs to do to claim the crown. Oh, he taps the back of Simone. He's got to be careful here. Stewards' reports could, I hope they don't, but they could decide the title if you're not careful. With this middle group being so close, a 3-second penalty could cost you 2, 3, 4 positions, and then that's all of your season's hard work undone. So we'll go back to Roj, who is right up at the inside as Devil goes wide, gets a penalty. That's crucial for not only for Roj, not only for this race result. But I'll remind you again, the championship battle, Roj has to win this race. We don't have to win it. But as it stands, Roj really has to win this race if he wants to do what he can do to win this title. It's out of his hands, but at least he can say he put in a very valiant effort. Tries to go around the outside, set up the switchback maybe. Devil gets to stop nicely, to be fair. But in this position, Roj is net P1. He'll want the P1 on track, but at the moment he is a net P1 as Suzak sets fastest lap down in P6. Milos will be happy with this. He's P3. His championship is very firmly in his hands. I think the two RBs have given up. They're racing each other on the slicks. As long as they don't get in the way of anyone else, I'm sure it won't be looked at too badly. Speaking of inter-team battles, the only two other teammates to both turn up for this event. Fair play to them both. Simone and Tommy. They're keeping Milos honest. Here in P4 and P5. Suzak's behind them as well, who is rather rapid by the looks of things. Just their fastest lap, I do believe. Yeah, the 1:16.6. So this race has kind of entered the phase of just getting through it. Not quite towards the period where you can start thinking about the end yet. That will come in about 5 laps time. Obviously, I'm assuming that it's going to be inters until the end. I don't have a weather forecast in front of me. If it does dry out, then it leaves the possibility of another round of pit stops, so more strategy calls. As will Raj go for the move into turn 1, it's blocked by Devil. Raj goes to the outside. Can he set up the switchback this time? Second time lucky. No, not quite. But I'd imagine Raj would like it to dry out. Needs another round of pit stops. There's a yellow flag, I believe that's one of the RBs. So if one of the RBs causes a safety car, they would not be happy, because this is very clearly not slick tyre conditions. If they were to interfere, it would raise a few eyebrows in the steward's office, I'm certain. But we will stay on board with Roche here as he goes towards the final corner. Can he get the power down, get the exit? Deploy the RS. I think he'll have it covered for this lap, Bull Devil. Go on then, how boisterous is Roche feeling? Will he go for the dive? Set up the switchback, third time's a charm maybe. He's a lot closer than he has been previous laps. Down towards turn 4 to Cedar Delago. Can he manufacture anything out of this? Again, just has to sit behind for now. He doesn't need to take any risks. With Devil's penalty, he is net P1, but not really how a racer's mind works. His DRS has been enabled. Okay. The rain is still falling on my screen. Maybe it's stopped on theirs, but the rain is still very much falling here as Raj does go through towards the final corner, sliding through Jun Sao. Hopefully he can defend from the Aston Martin, although I doubt it as DRS has now been enabled. Tommy is the first of the, I'll say, competitive runners that go onto the slick tyre. The rain has now stopped. So we'll keep track of Tommy's lap times as his teammate Simone now comes in. Have a feeling that Tommy was perhaps one lap too early here. Maybe he's had a spin on his outlap as well. As his teammate, they were together, the two Ferraris. So yeah, Tommy must have lost a lot of time. Got to be careful pit exit here. It's one of the trickiest pit exits of the season, up there with Abu Dhabi, in terms of the fact that you can crash in it. These two are still battling out front, which, I mean, fair enough. It's about the only entertainment we've got at the moment. As with DRS enabled, neither of them have come in. If I was Roy, I'd have come in then. Or one of the two of you, because you're going to gain something. I think it is dry enough now for the slicks. Milos comes in as well, alongside Suzax. Thankfully for them, they both avoid a pit lane speeding penalty. Interesting to see where they come out in comparison to Simone, who's on the soft tyres, has one lap extra experience on the slicks, Knows how much you can push it on a drying track. It's going to be close between him and Milos. Very close indeed. You'll see him come out on the left. There you go. Simone has come out ahead of Milos. Perhaps just... it will get in the head of Milos there. Still in the position he needs, but... if Simone picks up a 3-second penalty, that's crucial. Both of the top two come in. Don't know where Roj lost 2.5 seconds. Whether it was a collision, whether... just had a little moment. But they're both in now for intermediates. Again, could have been soft. Depends how much the tyre wear is around here, of course. But they have a healthy advantage over Simone, so... really is just a race between them. As Milos makes the move down the inside into turn 1, makes it look easy with DRS. A lot of these moves will become a lot easier now the DRS is available. It's down towards turn 4. Thought we were going to see the Ferrari come alongside them, but he gets the exit. Up towards turn 6. Can't quite hang in there. Well, massively varying levels of ERS between the two, although Milos should be able to save up through the middle sector. Ironically, now the right cow and Richard are on the right tyre. But they're just like 8 laps too early. And I think they're both a lap down now, so safe to say we can count the RBs out of this one. And for Milos, not Milos, for Roj, this could be the end. There's a virtual safety car. Has the right cow crashed? Has he retired on track? I don't know what's happened to the RB driver. Something must have happened on track. He's just disappeared. But we have a VSC. Not a full safety car, which would have changed things completely. But we have a VSC now. It neutralises the race, neutralises all the gaps, and we're back underway again. But for Raj, I believe this could be... this is the point where you accept that it's over. You want to keep the belief. There's still 9 laps to go, of course. But it's at this moment you can feel it slipping away. Nearly 4 seconds behind Devil now, outside of his 3-second penalty window. With Milos sat in P3. Come so close, but not quite close enough for Raj. He will, of course, secure the Constructors' Championship for Williams, so there is that bittersweet moment. There is a championship on the line for him, but as it stands at least, Milos will be the champion. Again, Simone and Suzaks are keeping him honest. Certainly not running away with it as Simone picks up another 3-second time penalty. But even if Milos lets these two by, he'll still finish ahead of them on penalties, so... even if he finishes P5, even if he only has to finish the race, because P7 is 6 points. And Raj is powerless. As Suzaks goes around the outside, or tries to go around the outside into turn 1, set up the switchback maybe. Not really working for these drivers today through turn 1 and turn 2. Can't quite force their opponent into going deep into the first part of the center S. But we'll ride on board with Simone for a bit as we look back at Suzak's. Got one of my favourite camera angles, this. Of course, Superb Tommy, who I believe is... I think he's P3 in the standings. I'm not sure what the points gap is because the standings are glitched. But Tommy's had a very good season in that Ferrari. And assuming that he goes again next season, he'll be perhaps looking to be in that championship battle. I've missed the past couple rounds here, so I'm not entirely sure what's happened. I just know points gaps. But this will be the final race for a few of these drivers, I imagine. They might move tiers, they might leave the league. We'll have new people for season 20. Hopefully some better attendance, because... well, I don't know about you, but 8 people is appalling, considering we have a full roster. But anyway, I've been sidetracked. Simone will try and go for the move on Milos here with DRS. I'd imagine that Milos won't try and defend it. There's no need to defend it, no need to take the risk. And he does so. No need to be getting yourself caught up in needless incidents. We'll go for the re-overtake down towards turn 4. As we approach the end of this race, approach the end of this season, of what's been my first season commentating here in WOR, I must say the standard of racing that these guys put on show, immaculate. How they can race so close to each other, not bang wheels, not hit each other, keep it clean, hard but fair. Marvel to behold, and I hope you guys can appreciate that as well. Those of you who are league racers, you'll know how tough it is to do that, but how nice it is at the same time when you can pull it off. Have a nice battle with one of your rivals. And that's down the inside from Suzak, so he may have just made contact with Milos, and that's Simone round. Simone in the Ferrari. All comes to blows, 4 laps from the finish. Just as I was saying, we could have such close racing with no contact. I once again curse it. Which unfortunately breaks up what was quite a nice battle. Suzak is still here behind Milos. I'd imagine he won't try anything stupid. He knows the championship order. Milos won't fight this too hard either. Only 4 laps to go now, if I can do my maths correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 4 laps to go. As Suzak makes the move down into turn 1. Fair play to Richard for keeping going. On the wrong tyre for about half the race, but he's kept it going. Milos will not give this up. for P3. Fair play to him. It's all too easy to just sit back, knowing that you don't have to take the risk. You can finish behind them and still claim your championship. But he wants to put on a show for us. They're racing drivers. They don't want to just sit behind them. Don't want to win on penalties. That's not how they race. With a yellow flag. Must have been for Simone again. Two Ferraris have now come across each other. An interesting battle towards the end. These two aren't involved in a championship battle, of course, so maybe more liable for a few more dives. We'll ride on board with Tommy, our current P3 in the standings. Will he go for the dive into the centre S on his teammate? No, he won't. He'll think better of it. Set up the move down towards the scene of Delago, maybe, is Simone. Simone. For season 20, please take a track limits course. You're going to need it, mate. I promise you it will help. As he picks up his third penalty of the afternoon. But they know that all is done now, pretty much. 2.5 laps left of this season. I believe Simone has wing damage, actually. If I look back from the onboard, maybe he's had a collision with the wall somewhere. We're now right on board with Suzax, who is still behind Milos. Still trying his best to fight him. Keeping it clean though, so fair enough. But out in front though. What a turnaround for Devil. Absolutely dead last. At the end of turn 2. After an incident with Rog. And pending any Shield's investigations, we'll be cruising to victory here in the season finale here in Tier 6. As he starts his final lap, the final lap of the season here. Fair play. What a drive. Certainly my driver of the day. Him and Rog. For the recovery drive from effectively doing a last to first challenge. Follow him through the middle sector. Don't have to push now. Only got 3 seconds of penalty, so he's well ahead of Rog. The two Ferraris still doing battle. We'll get to them in a minute. But as Devil comes up towards the final corner, we may not see him next season. He may go to Tier 5. But if we don't, thank you for the racing, man. What a drive from Devil to win the season finale here of season 19 here in Tier 6. Rog will come across the line in P2. A valiant effort from the Williams driver. But our champion here, Milos, crosses the line to take P3. Milos Vucevic, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, I've already butchered it. Milos is your season 19 console Tier 6 champion. What a drive. What a season from the Mercedes. I'll quickly see if I can get up the championship standings so I can get a few more statistics for you. There's your final running order then. Devil takes maximum points. The winner and fastest lap. Roj, in the end, it was just too much of a hurdle to climb. Finishes P2 on track, P2 in the standings. Takes home the the Constructors' Championship for Williams. This is an outdated spreadsheet. I'm not even going to try and look at it. Milos P3, your driver's champion. Suzak's P4. Superb Tommy P5. Simone P6. Richard P7 is the last of your finishers. In the right cow, P8. Not really sure what happened to him, but that's all she wrote. I've been Harrison. I've been your Tier 6 commentator for most of this season. Thank you all for the drivers who have turned up and all of you who have watched. I'll be back next season with more commentary, so you can look forward to that. Hopefully for some more emphatic racing as well. From me and the drivers, adios.